Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We're glad to have you join us. I'm Lydia Odije Ochi. Now the details. The Federal Executive Council chambers of the State House has been formally reopened for presidential activities. The hallowed chambers was shut down since April this year to enable a comprehensive rehabilitation exercise under the supervision of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa.
Therefore have the honor and singular privilege to present to President in Council a brand new and world-class audiovisual conferencing center for the use of this Federal Executive Council and generations yet to come, and for the benefit of our country to enhance your quest in delivering on good governance. There is nowhere in the world you go that you can find a better facility than what we have here. This system, Your Excellency, is an improved version of what we initially set out to do. Because right now, we are linked to the tea room and we are also linked to the press gallery, which presupposes that with this new system, Mr. President, from here you can address the press in the press gallery and interact with them without necessarily going to the press gallery. And you can also take your virtual meetings through this particular system. And I wish to sincerely thank you, Mr. President, for approving the project and for the inconveniences too that you have had to suffer using the facility of the First Lady's conference room during the implementation of this project.
So, get out your agenda, members. And item number 1.
This is consequently the first meeting of the Federal Executive Council to be held in the chambers in the last 7 months. President Muhammadu Buhari is presiding over the meeting being conducted virtually in line with the COVID-19 safety advisory. Amongst those physically present, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, Chief of Staff to the President, the National Security Advisor, Head of Service of the Federation, and several ministers. Other members of the Council are participating in the weekly meeting online from their offices across the nation's capital, Abuja. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that various memoranda from ministries, departments, and agencies of government are expected to be considered for possible approval as part of sustained efforts at taking Nigeria to the next level of socio-economic development. Nigeria beats other countries in Africa and the Middle East that are implementing the open government policy to emerge first position. This is coming on the heels of independent reviews of reforms embarked upon by implementing countries. The review tracked and assessed the milestones achieved by the Nigerian government in setting up beneficial ownership registry to end anonymous companies in the country.
Improvements since then. NIT kept pushing and pushing. President Muhammadu Buhari, while attending the anti-corruption summit in London, made a commitment, first of all, to the Open Governance Partnership, and Nigeria committed to sign and did sign by July of that year, and also made a commitment to establishing an open register of beneficial ownership of companies operating in Nigeria.
The first step we took was to ensure that there was a deadline within which Nigeria will queue into the beneficial ownership disclosure. So we published a roadmap, and that roadmap was mainstreamed into our national and country work plans.
The federal government in 2017 flagged off the primary healthcare centers revitalization program to ensure improved access to services for Nigerians, especially rural dwellers. The House of Representatives says, despite this noble initiative and huge investment of resources, out of the 30,000 such centers across the country, only about 20% are in good working condition. The House therefore resolved to investigate non-functioning of national primary health care centers in the country as moved by Representative Sergius Ogun. Debate on the issue prompted the House to look into the responsibilities of the 3 tiers of government as provided in the Constitution, covering matters of primary health care and provision of housing, amongst others. Speaker, House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila has commended diplomatic initiative of stakeholders in addressing travel restrictions by some countries on Nigeria over threat of Omicron variant. He made this known while briefing journalists on the outcome of a meeting between lawmakers and stakeholders. Mobolaji Moribirin has the report.
I'll call it parliamentary diplomacy.
The interactive session is between Speaker, House of Representatives, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Aviation, and representatives of the United Arab Emirates. The meeting is to brief legislators on measures taken to convince the United Arab Emirates to remove Nigeria from the travel ban.
Taking Nigeria off the red list. These are welcome developments, considering the relationship between UAE and Nigeria, particularly in the last few days. The president has been there, the vice president has been there, many of our government functionaries have been there to foster stronger ties between the two countries. And so we're not going to allow this to mar the strides, the giant strides that have been made between the two countries.
Minister of Foreign Affairs is optimistic that positive results will emerge from their engagement with the United Arab Emirates.
The issue of airlines is being dealt with by the two friendly governments, and we're very optimistic that the matter will be resolved, very, very quickly.
Meanwhile, the Senate Committee on Youth and Sports Development says the 9th National Assembly is determined to reposition the Nigerian gaming industry through a central monitoring system that will enhance revenue generation for the country.
If you take a country like UK, most of the things they do sport-wise, they are being funded through lottery activities.
The committee later went into a closed-door session. From the National Assembly, Mobolaji Moribiri, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has commenced the legislative process that will position the Nigeria Customs Service among the best globally accepted information and communication technology-wise. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports that a public hearing on a bill for an act to repeal the country's Customs Service Act has been held in that direction. The report.
Various submissions were made by stakeholders to be included in the bill, which is expected to block fraudulent activities, which allows free flow of government revenue into the pockets of individuals.
The degree of administrative autonomy required to support the reform needs to be reconsidered.
We are not opposed to it. In fact, we are the greatest beneficiary of the bill.
We should sustain the economy so that the export base, excise-based trade is enhanced.
The bill provides for stiffer punishments for offenders, legislative input into the appointment of the Comptroller General of Customs, and the introduction of new excise collectible revenue sources in line with the Finance Act 2020.
It's a product of a coordinated effort by the House of Representatives working with stakeholders in the sector to implement a wholesale reform of customs and excise operations in Nigeria.
Digitalization of Nigerian Customs Service with the already embraced innovative solutions to trades across emerging markets.
The bill, according to the committee, if passed into law, will no doubt reposition the country's customs service to become a better technologically driven agency. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu says amendment to the Power Sector Reform Act being undertaken by the National Assembly will give more traction to federal government's efforts at addressing inadequate and epileptic power supply in the country. It was at the public hearing organized by the House Committee on Power. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali has that one.
This legislative engagement is the latest move by the House of Representatives to engender legal provisions to govern the operations of the power sector for optimal performance. House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila described the exercise as long overdue.
And we all as Nigerians understand that the electric power sector in Nigeria is not performing optimally. Most people recognize that a situation where we cannot expect 24-hour electricity in our cities and many rural areas remain wholly disconnected from the benefits of access to electricity is unacceptable.
The hearing is considered very necessary to enable the committee to utilize the outcome of the exercise to address the gap in the existing laws to strengthen the Nigerian power sector for efficiency and service delivery.
Minister of Power Abubakar Aliyu informed the gathering of the huge investment in the power sector by the federal government to further boost economic and social activities in the country, adding that regulations through legislation will enhance operations.
We commend interest shown by both chambers of the National Assembly and the power sector to ensure that the right environment is created for efficiency.
The public hearing aims to obtain stakeholders' opinion on amendments to some sections of the Power Sector Reform Act 2015, the bill to establish Chartered Institute of Power Engineers, and the bill to effectively coordinate the rural electrification project. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Still from the National Assembly, the Senate is considering a bill that seeks to provide a legislative framework for the empowerment of women and gender equity in Nigeria. The bill, sponsored by Senator Biodun Olujimi, is to align all laws relating to the empowerment of women, especially in the areas of appointment and representation of women in decision-making positions and structures. The Gender and Equity Bill will provide for the prohibition of discrimination against women and people living with disabilities, dislodge stereotypes against women, and encourage them to aspire and achieve their full potentials. The bill witnessed divergent opinions among senators and was eventually stepped down for further consultations.
An opportunity is available to all citizens, including people living with disability in Nigeria,
to ensure that Nigerian women are given equal opportunity.
As Muslims, socio-cultural practice is the practice of our religion. And therefore, this aspect of it, by equating opportunities, actually infringes with the provisions of the Quran, of which I am a Muslim, and also the Bible.
If the talk of equity was okay, but equality is no. Senator Olujimi, the sponsor, please, if there is anything that we pointed out of serious concern to our colleagues, let's find an accommodation so that when we come back, we should be able to pass the bill.
Senate has approved the 2018 to 2020 federal government external borrowing plan. Lagos is our first port of call, and Michael will be guiding us. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Lydia. The Pakistani Navy has expressed readiness to open more frontiers of core military and non-military relations with its Nigerian counterparts. This commitment came aboard a Pakistani naval ship, PNS Alamgri, which is on a port visit to Western Naval Command of the Nigerian Navy in Lagos. The engagement with the flag officer commanding, Rear Admiral Jason Bassa, who was represented, is expected to further complement the diplomatic relations between the two navies beyond the call of military operations. Apart from its mission commander overseas deployments around Africa, a medical team of 6 from the Pakistani Navy is also part of the delegation and will be participating in a medical rhapsody at the Nigerian Navy Reference Hospital, or JAW.
And they are going to have free medicines as well for the local populace. It is just a very token of love, and it shows our intentions and the good wishes from the people of Pakistan to the Nigeria. And we think that Nigeria is the most important country in Africa. We wish African people and the Nigerian people more success.
For the host, the existing relationship between the two navies covering training and joint exercises have been mutually beneficial.
The understanding is that they have some specialist doctors who our people can avail themselves of this specialty from these doctors. And by and large, we are willing to, as we have accepted them, we're going to take them to the Navy town where this medical camp is going to be held.
The Pakistani ship is expected to depart Nigeria shores for other engagements on the continent. In the past, availability and accessibility of financial statements of the 36 states of the Federation seemed like a mission impossible. With these barriers broken, citizens have been enjoined to engage in participatory budget to determine their developmental needs to promote fiscal accountability and transparency in governance. This was the focus of a workshop organized for civil society organizations by State's Fiscal Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability Program in conjunction with Open Governance Partnership in Lagos. Amaka O reports.
These are members of the civil society organizations drawn from the 36 states of the Federation to share their experiences on citizens' involvement in budget performance. This is because they are considered the voice of the people as they play important role in catalyzing growth and sensitization at the grassroots.
Jigawa, we are among the top 5 states in terms of meeting up with the SIFTA's DLIs.
There was no audit law for states, and now you have states who have passed audit laws.
The presentation on state fiscal transparency, accountability and sustainability program was made to highlight areas of advocacy for civil society organizations.
The states are now responding, publishing documents, giving information out there to their citizens. So it's now left for their citizens to utilize this information.
The need for robust discussions to expand the scope of engagement beyond the December 2022 deadline was also highlighted by representative of the National Program Coordinator, State Fiscal Transparency, Accountability and Sustainability Program.
The civil society movement as a whole has contributed a lot to the nation's development because without them, there wouldn't have been transparency in governance, accountability in public finance management, sanity in politics, and prosperity in economy.
On the part of the Minister of State for Finance, Budget and National Planning, who was represented, a monitoring and evaluation mechanism is to be installed for easy validation of budget performance among citizens.
There's this software, an app that my ministry is planning to put in place, which will also monitor implementation. And this monitoring will be done by the citizens themselves. So if government says doing this, A or B, and you assess and you think government is not doing, you can go to that app and you make your complaints.
There were panels of discussants from states who produced citizens' accountability reports and citizens' budget. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
We now go on our first break, and when we return, Nationwide continues with Zinret from our Just Network Center. Please stay.
The 2022 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration is here again. The Nigeria Armed Forces work tirelessly day and night to give us peace to go about our businesses. Some have paid the supreme price. Should we forget the families and loved ones they left behind? No.
I am therefore privileged to honor these veterans who devoted most of their lives, active lives, to securing the nation and the world at large.
So, let's support the Nigerian Armed Forces and their families, corporate organizations, government agencies, parastatals, and individuals. Let's show our love and support for our armed forces. They are our heroes. Buy the Armed Forces Remembrance Emblem and donate into the Armed Forces Remembrance Emblem Appeal account. We love you, and your labor and sacrifice will not be in vain for spilling your blood for us to live.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest asset the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths.
The Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria is here to help you succeed. SMEDAN gives you entrepreneurship training that will make your business grow big. It can create access to finance. SMEDAN can help you prepare a good feasibility study and link you up with the finance institutions that would fund your business. It can also create access to market through local and international trade fairs, opportunity fairs, and exhibitions. SMEDAN also organizes programs to identify innovative entrepreneurs and promote their business ideas. Contact us at Plot 35, Port Harcourt Crescent, Area 11, Garki, Abuja, or visit our website www.smedan.gov.ng.
Norwich City are desperate for another 3 points in their battle for survival in the Premier League. Can they cause an upset against the Hammers? This Saturday, it's West Ham United versus Norwich City on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
Has expressed its resolve to ensure early completion of the new High Court headquarters complex to provide a better working environment for the judiciary. Governor Simon Lalong gave this indication in Jos while swearing in the new acting chief judge of the state, Justice David Mann. Alisa Batukai Andrew reports.
Swearing in the new acting chief judge, Governor Lalong urged him to hit the ground running by carrying out his assignment with speed, accuracy, and accountability. Following the implementation of judicial autonomy earlier this year, the governor advised him to take advantage of what the autonomy provides to ensure training and retraining of staff. He urged citizens to approach the courts with their grievances for justice instead of resorting to self-help. Governor Lalong emphasized the need for the acting chief judge to give leadership and direction to the judicial arm to enable it discharge its constitutional mandate without ill will. Alisa Batukai Andrew, NTA News.
Governor Simon Lalong says visual art occupies a strategic place in the new dispensation towards achieving national development through technology. The governor was speaking at the 2021 edition of the International Visual Arts Teachers Workshop at the University of Jos. Caleb Kochin has details.
Governor Lalong lauded the initiative to reposition the visual art sector, especially after the challenges of COVID-19 lockdown.
That has demonstrated that it is a means of livelihood and must be encouraged by all, especially in Nigeria, at a time like this when every effort is being put in place to develop alternatives to our own.
Director General of the National Gallery of Art, Chief Eberton Evara, says the workshop is geared towards improving creativity, research, and discovering new ways of updating teachers in the field of visual art.
The visual art sector can contribute more to the Nigerian economy. This contribution is sustainable with less effort and finances like we're doing now.
Visual arts can be creation and appreciation
must become deeply entrenched in the teachers, as well as the professional core rudiments that govern the profession.
Messages of goodwill came from key stakeholders in the sector, with lectures by prominent educationists in the field of visual art. The workshop, which is in collaboration with the University of Jos, has as its theme repositioning the visual art sector, curriculum review, challenges, prospects, and new media in contemporary art pedagogy. In Jos, Caleb Gochin, NTA News.
From Jos, it's back to Lydia for more reports on Nationwide.
Many thanks. The federal government and the French Development Agency have agreed to strengthen cooperation to promote climate action and the low-carbon economic development in Nigeria. At a meeting with the new country director of the French Development Agency, Mr. Xavier Mouron, and the national project leader for the Nigeria Deep Decarbonization Project, Nigeria, Professor Chukwumerije Okereke, Minister of State Environment Sharon Ikeazo, said Nigeria is determined to tackle the myriads of challenges posed by climate change with the support of both national and international cooperation. The Federal Ministry of Environment, under a framework established through a Memorandum of Understanding between the federal government and the French Development Agency, signed in December 2020, initiated a deep decarbonization project to mobilize and reinforce the capacities of local teams of experts and researchers in Nigeria. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC, is again giving Nigerians assurance that they have product sufficiency that will last far beyond the festive period. A statement by Garbadin Muhammad Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division NNPC, says its stock has risen from a reserve of 1.7 billion litres to over 2 billion litres within the last 1 month. Thus, the statement urges Nigerians not to engage in panic buying, but to fully enjoy the spirit of the festive season and be assured that the organization will continue to work tirelessly to ensure sufficient supply of petrol to every part of the country. To checkmate plagiarism and protect documents in line with international best practices, libraries in Nigerian universities are to key into the digitization drive. The program, championed by Tertiary Education Fund, TED Fund, will be done in phases. The first phase will commence with the thesis of all postgraduate studies and master's degree dating back 10 years. The fund has therefore assembled librarians and directors of ICT of all the public universities in Abuja for a workshop to brainstorm on the success of the program.
The world has gone digital. We cannot continue to operate analog. And precisely why we know that a number of materials from thesis at postgraduate level and even undergraduate have literally disappeared. Where there are fire incidences, once the fiscal papers are burnt, the thesis is gone. But if we're able to dematerialize them, and they are stored in various forms at different repositories and centers, it's easier to access, and definitely protection of the material is guaranteed.
The fund hopes to extend it to undergraduate projects and replicate same at public polytechnics and colleges of education. Even with the mandatory provisions that make thousands of Nigerian graduates flood the National Youth Service Scheme, authorities of the program say it is determined to raise awareness on the content of the NYSC Act. This position was stated at a sensitization workshop held in Abuja on the NYSC Act 2004. Femi Okeowo reports.
The NYSC Act has always been in existence since the creation of the scheme, but it took two major high-profile cases under this administration for people to appreciate the enormity of a violation of the Act. This conference helps to sensitize Nigerians more on the provisions of the NYSC Act. With contributions from lawyers, judges, and administrators, it was agreed that areas of obscurity in the NYSC Act need to be brought out both for employers of labor and educational institutions, so that no one falls victim of the provisions of the Act.
I have to look at some of the challenges faced by the scheme itself as a result of the years of operation, the violations experienced, the economic side of it, the personnel side of it, and the political side of it.
In this wise, NYSC will soon begin the prosecution of violators of the Act.
NYSC does not allow, cutting short your service. If you cut short your service, there's a penalty for that. And if during your service you start doing a master's program alongside, it's wrong.
If you are a corps member and you are serving, and in midstream you break your service, that means you have not completed service. That means you have to be punished accordingly.
So far, the courts have made key pronouncements that saw even political office holders thrown out of office for not presenting themselves for service. One case in point is Abdulkadir Madibo against Mustafa Usman, where one corps member went into politics 3 months to the end of his service and won the election. His election was annulled because the NYSC Act forbids members from participating in politics. In Abuja, Femi Okeowo, NTA News.
6 years after its suspension by President Muhammadu Buhari administration, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory Mohammed Musa Bello has flagged off the land swap program in Abuja. Shaibu Onoze Yakubu was at the flag-off of the pilot scheme in Gwagwa Phase 4 district and now reports.
The land swap designed to address infrastructure deficit in the FCT was started by the previous administration before it was suspended in 2015. This flag-off ceremony signaled the full resumption of the scheme, which will ensure provision of the desired infrastructure in the areas earmarked for development. FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello urges partners involved in the agreement to adhere to the terms and conditions of the initiative, which will fast-track development in the territory.
The basic concept of this program is to grant an agreed percentage of land to an investor for comprehensive development, and in exchange for this grant, the investor is to provide both specified infrastructure as well as resettlement costs.
This milestone event is a testament to our commitment to the provision of critical infrastructures for FCT residents in line with Mr. President's mandate for the administration.
It is indeed a capital-intensive project and a demonstration of real faith and commitment by the private sector developer into the development of our capital city, the FCT.
The pilot project tagged Abuja Midtown is under public-private partnership arrangement, which when completed will provide homes and job opportunities for more than 100,000 people. Shuaibu Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
Next on Nationwide is Sadia waiting in Sokoto with more reports. Sadia, it's over to you.
Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal has described bandits terrorizing people in some parts of the country as enemies of humanity who should be treated as such. Tambuwal made the statement when the leadership of the Nigerian Governors Forum paid condolence visit to Sokoto State over the recent banditry attacks in some parts of the state. Dalatu Abdullahi has the report.
The Nigerian Governors Forum leadership was in Sokoto to commiserate with the government and the people of the state over the recent attacks by bandits, including the banning of 23 travelers along Sabon Isa Road. The forum pledged to continue to focus on the possible ways of curtailing the unfortunate situations and prayed Allah to guard against future occurrence.
Collectively as governors to continue to work in search of peace and harmony amongst our people and to continue to focus on how to ensure that criminals are brought to book for the heinous crimes being committed against innocent Nigerians, wherever they may be.
Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol stated that the bandits' motives are still unraveled as they continue to attack communities, killing innocent people at random.
We must rise as leaders of this country to save the situation. All hands must be on deck, especially amongst us, the governors, to support the only one commander-in-chief that we have as provided by our constitution.
The NGF chairman was accompanied by governors of Jigawa and Kebbi states, among others. In Sokoto, Dalatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
The federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Education, is to curb the menace of over 10 million out-of-school-aged children in Nigeria. Minister of Education, Malam Adamu stated this while flagging off the national identification and enrollment drive of school-age children in the 6 geopolitical zones held in Sokoto. Sheikh Muhammad Detti reports.
The National Identification Enrollment Drive of School-Age Children is a program of Federal Ministry of Education with the aim of catering for the need of out-of-school children in the country. Flagging up the program in Sokoto, Minister of Education, Malam Adamu, represented by the Director of Basic Education, Dr. Folake Olatunji, said the program is one of the priorities in the ministerial strategy plan to combat the menace of out-of-school children in Nigeria. Currently, Nigeria accounts for 1 in every 5 out-of-school children in the world, and 45% are in West Africa. It is in the light of this that the ministry seeks the support of Northerners, associate members and community leaders in ensuring enrollment, retention and transmitting to higher levels of education.
Supporting Sokoto State Government to enroll all children of school age before they become out of school.
Governor Aminu Waziri Tambol, represented by the Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Muhammad Bello Abubakar, said state government is taking measures to ensure equal access to education is given to all children, irrespective of tribe or religion in the state. So far in Sokoto, 75,000 children have returned to school through the BESDA program, with a view to addressing a return of over 90,000 out-of-school children.
And what we are trying to do now is to ensure the retention and transition.
The Permanent Secretary, Universal Basic Education Board Sokoto, described education as a tool for national development, hence the need for enrollment of school-aged children. Community and religious leaders call on parents to ensure that their children are enrolled into schools. The occasion featured presentation of school materials and uniform to children. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
And that's it from here. More news with Lydia right after this break. Do stay.
One country, one peaceful people, united in diversity.
We are great Nigerians.
Let's be peaceful.
We refuse to be manipulated by desperados and instigators.
We cannot succeed without your cooperation.
A peaceful and united Nigeria is possible.
Join us in one voice, one love and unity.
As we march around 36 states of Nigeria, including the FCT,
for national peace
and unity campaign, truth and commitments.
Babban taro na Najeriya domin dawo da soyayya a tsakanin 'yan Najeriya.
When the power of love overcomes the love for power.
For our country, Nigeria. Together we stand.
This message is brought to you by the ambassadors of Voice of Change Initiative, supported by Nigerian Television Authority (NTA) and Federal Capital Territory (FCT).
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk, app for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Norwich City are desperate for another 3 points in their battle for survival in the Premier League. Can they cause an upset against the Hammers? This Saturday, it's West Ham United versus Norwich City on the Premier League Live, showing on the network service of the NTA from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral.
Thanks for staying with us. Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma has applauded efforts of security operatives in the state for the successful rescue of Eze Achondukwe within 24 hours of kidnap from his community. He was speaking at the DSS office Owerri, where he briefed journalists on the development.
Following the kidnap of Eze Achondukwe from his community in Amagu, Ihube, in Okigwe local government area of Imo State, the Joint Security Task Force comprising the military, DSS and the police stormed the kidnappers' camp in Ikweruda, Osu Ukwa Osu local government area of Imo State, where Eze Achondukwe was rescued. Governor Hope Uzodinma, while briefing journalists, commended the Joint Security Team for their commitment to the rescue mission.
To the glory of God, the traditional ruler, a very prominent traditional ruler, whose faith in God is also strong, that was kidnapped yesterday. God knows, whether by today they would have killed him. But to the glory of God, he has been rescued. I want to thank the Almighty God for that. We will continue in our effort to fight insecurity in Imo State. And we are going to march these boys head on.
Eze Acho, while sharing his experience in the hands of the kidnappers, describes his successful rescue as divine. He also notes with delight the effort of Governor Uzodinma and the security forces who made the rescue operation possible. Some of the suspects arrested were paraded alongside items found on them at the time of the raid. In Owerri, Bright Ebuchu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, alongside his Akwa Ibom counterpart Udom Emmanuel, have inaugurated a safe home that will cater for vulnerables. Nyesom Wike, in his remark, pledges continuous support for the vulnerables, promises more social welfare for the people of Rivers State.
It is the responsibility of government to take care of the vulnerables. We are only interested in constructing roads. We are only interested in constructing schools, hospitals, and the rest of it. But one major aspect that government forgets is the less privileged, the vulnerable. We do not think that we owe them that duty. I also call on the federal government. This actually should be replicated in all the states.
Approved 2nd December 2020, the 6,835 square meters building consists of counseling unit, courtroom administrative unit, cafeteria, creche for babies, amongst others. Small and medium-scale enterprises, SMEs in Nigeria, are now to be digitally integrated in order to leverage on emerging technological innovations in driving the country's digital economy. To this end, an SME Digital Academy where interested Nigerians would be trained on various fields has been inaugurated by the federal government. ICT correspondent Joseph Johnson reports.
Despite the significant contribution of small and medium-scale enterprises, SMEs, to the Nigerian economy, record shows that challenges still persist, which hinder the growth and development of the sector. But that, these critical stakeholders say, is about to change with the SME Digital Academy.
Space is no longer a constraint. Distance is no longer a constraint. Wherever you are, you can be heard. Wherever you are, you can make a contribution to the world. Wherever you are, you can earn a living. Wherever you are, you can be taught and you can teach wherever you are. The ultimate thing is to make sure that small businesses have skills to power their business at the comfort of their homes, to make sure that they're able to create jobs, create wealth, alleviate poverty, and ensure food security for everyone in Nigeria.
This training is really going to help me because already from with the 20 minutes I had with the training, I can actually see myself already. The sky is my stepping stone.
These courses that we are taking now, I'm sure with what I have taken now, I have
have more knowledge and skills on how to use my capital in my business.
The initiative, which is a collaboration between the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, and Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, is expected to move these business minds from their physical small-medium business sphere to a digitized large-scale enterprises. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
The FCT Social Development Secretariat has continued to rid the territory of destitutes and street nuisance. Acting Director, Social Welfare Service of the Secretariat, Sani Rabi, during the exercise, reiterated the determination of the administration to redirect the minds of the destitute to being useful to themselves and the society. Ifeanyi Ezumba reports.
One of the mandates given to the FCT Social Development Secretariat is to sanitize the city, not only to evacuate beggars and drug addicts. They also carry out vocational rehabilitation training to the interested physically challenged and other persons with disabilities, including drug addicts who happen to rediscover themselves.
What we normally do, we don't force you to choose, we don't force you on a particular vocational training. We allow you, out of your own interest, to choose what you can do better, because interest matters a lot in learning.
Some of them who have taken to one vocation or the other say they need working tools, especially those learning tailoring.
We want machine. We have some machine that we are working with, but we need more, and we need just more machines.
So far, FCT Social Development Secretariat have evacuated 471 street beggars off the streets of Abuja and have repatriated them to their states of origin. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Ezumba, NTA News.
Core members involved in volunteerism are taking stock of the impact they have made to champion the campaign on national core values in Abuja. This is in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency and other partners. Kenneth Nanim reports.
To complement the role of public education and enlightenment by the National Orientation Agency, about 136 Batch A and B core members serving in different capacities within the FCT volunteered to carry on with the campaign on the need for Nigerians, especially the youth, to uphold national core values for the nation's development. As the service year winds down, the agency is taking stock of their contributions towards reorientation of the citizens on behavioral change. They are being encouraged not to lose guard in upholding the ethical values even after the service year.
The rest is therefore on us to create the kind of country that we all love to see.
The core members are enthused for the opportunity given them to serve and express faith in the country.
Everyone needs to be disciplined, everybody needs to be patriotic, because these two key terms would make the nation greater.
Each and every one of us can imbibe the national core values, discipline, integrity, religious tolerance, and the remaining. Nigeria will be a better place.
The agency also assures them that their contributions to nation building will surely bear fruits someday. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The Nigerian Navy has seized a vessel allegedly used for oil theft and arrested 22 suspects along the Akasa River, Bayelsa State. Demise completes the report.
A vessel MT TIS IV laden with about 700,000 liters of suspected allegedly sourced crude oil worth over 148 million naira and its crew members were arrested on the 6th of December 2021 along the Akasa River in Brass local government area, Bayelsa State.
Navy went further to identify the source of the stolen crude and was led to the spot where about 4 dug-out pits containing unspecified quantity of crude oil were discovered, which is more than what was found on the vessel. The discovered storage pit has been reported to relevant oil and gas company for evacuation.
Commander NNS Sorrow Commodore Patrick Effa attributes the successes recorded to the recently commissioned vessels and the Chief of the Naval Staff's directive in line with Operation Quiet Water at keeping the Nigeria's maritime domain safe. He appreciated other sister security agencies for their support. The Nigerian Navy says it is committed towards curbing all forms of criminality in the Nigerian maritime domain. From Brass local government area here in Bayelsa State, Ebinimi Zitimiola, NTA News.
The ancient Owu town in Abeokuta wears a sorrowful look following the demise of the Olowo of Owu Kingdom, Oba Adegboyega Dosumu, the Amororo II, who passed on Sunday, the 12th of December, 2021. Lekon Agwande has the situation report from the palace.
The announcement of the demise of the Olowo of Owu Kingdom, Oba Adegboyega Dosumu, the situation around the palace here has been pensive as some chiefs have come in to mourn the death of the monarch. The bedroom music has momentarily stopped. The Owu community was in sober mood as the normal activities associated with the palace has been suspended to mourn the demise of the first-class traditional ruler. Even though a condolence register is yet to be opened at the palace, but the chief protocol officer, Chief Moruf Egbeyemi, says necessary arrangements are being put in place.
The situation in the palace now, we are waiting for the Alake of Egbeland to go and tell him that our papa passed on. After that, we go to the Obas in Egba when we come back to palace for the press conference.
Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun had, in a condolence message, described the late monarch as a quintessential monarch, a man of peace and passionate supporter of development. Oba Adegboyega Dosumu joined the Nigerian Civil Service in 1956 and later the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, where he rose to become the head of drama department. He was the producer of the popular Nigerian television series The Village Headmaster that held the record of the longest running popular television series for over 20 years. In Abeokuta, Lekon Agbonde, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has condoled the government and people of Ogun State as well as the royal family on the passing of the Olowo of Owu Kingdom, Oba Adegboyega Dosumu Amororo II. President Buhari joins the Ogun State Council of Obas and the Nigerian film producers in mourning the demise of the respected first-class traditional ruler and the producer of TV soap, The Village Headmaster, recognized as the longest-running Nigerian TV series for over 20 years. The president believes that the Olowo will be remembered for his love and tireless work to champion the interests and well-being of his community, as well as brilliant performances on stage and screen, which have been preserved for the delight and education of the upcoming generation. He prays that the memory of the late Oba will be a blessing to his family, friends, and community. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And with that, we end Nationwide. Before we go, don't forget to join NTA in the campaign against rape and rapists. I am Lydia Odije Ochi. Have a wonderful evening. Goodbye.